Hey ladies and gentlemen, Michael here again on Archangel 15. As always, thanks for taking the time to stop in and view my videos. Today I want to talk about our ongoing debt crisis and my ideas for balancing our budget deficit. I want to start off with a disclaimer, of course, and basically this presentation is not meant to be defamatory or to slander anyone or any particular entity. If you do not like what I'm saying, please stop watching. Consider this for entertainment and educational purposes. As we go into the holiday season, everything's supposedly peaches and cream under the Trump administration. It's important to remain cognizant that our country's accrued $22 trillion and growing in debt. This obviously didn't happen overnight. Words like Iraq, Afghanistan, F-35, and derivatives should all ring a bell to you. Everything I'm going to say can definitely be argued into a conundrum of sorts and would most likely have global ramifications. If you have any better ideas, I'm all ears. In my humble opinion, 60 to 75% of the S&P 500 companies are predicated on lies and bullshit. Oil, banks, biotech, socialized healthcare, and harmful consumer product companies are a few reasons why I say this. Yet every week, your hard-earned 401k dollars go into propping up this inevitable house of cards. I'm not going to go into talking about Malthusian economics, federal open market policy, or even trade relations, China, etc. Not to mention, there's a major unproportionate disadvantage that people that are buying into the market today have over people who bought in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and after the orchestrated collapse of 2008. If you get a chance and you're interested in what I'm saying, please watch my Zio Global Truth videos, starting with part 1 on this channel. Yeah, you'll definitely enjoy them. Let's back things up to where the problem actually all started. A lot of it started, in my opinion. 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard. This is where the saying that our currency is backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government came from, after we came off the gold standard. This can be interpreted in many different ways. A former boss of mine basically said his interpretation is that it means that our currency is backed by the combined value of all of our real estate. As time has transgressed and our national debt quantified, essentially our currency is fiat. It has no value whatsoever. It's a major pet peeve of mine when politicians say one thing to get elected and basically are all talk and no action. Trump probably has a lot better of an idea of what $1 trillion is, let alone $22 trillion and growing, than we do. The sad state of affairs in this country is deplorable. This obviously didn't happen overnight, and I do believe it was ultimately by design. As we go into the next presidential election, I believe we need to definitely hold him accountable. He basically said before he got elected that he was going to balance the budget and pay off our national debt and all this, and he's done absolutely nothing to do this. Just increased spending. And you can look at the debt clock on the internet yourself, and it's a joke. It's sad, and the media is there. They prop him up, and it's all smoke and mirrors game, ladies and gentlemen. I believe Trump and the Kushners and their country club friends will ultimately try to broker some type of a land deal, allowing the Chinese, Saudis, and others to gain citizenship in exchange for this enormous debt. I can tell you right now that Trump and his cohorts have no logical plan to even begin paying back this insurmountable amount of money. Instead, they will opt to keep kicking the can down the road. So let me give it to you like this. I've basically devised about 5 ways that would actually work to solve the issue. So starting with number 1, we go down to Washington, D.C., and we start firing people by the millions. In my opinion, a lot of these jobs are useless and meaningless for our society, and we really wouldn't suffer any type of loss. Ultimately, this is not the best solution for the greater good of our republic. So number 2, we gut the 1% and enact austerity measures for our ongoing debt crisis. These people allow for a suppression of truth and a degradation of our Bill of Rights so that they and their kids can enslave everyone. And meanwhile, they get to go skiing, they get to go on their island getaway trips around the world, boats, numerous houses, cars, expensive liquor, you name it. and everybody else is a slave. We need to be like, I don't care who your granddad is or was. I don't care if you're William Cunningham IV. Even if you took 95% of what these people had, they would still have enough to make you sick. There's a major inheritance issue in this country and around the world as well. If these people die, inheritance tax would definitely be a way to snag their chips and ultimately mitigate this problem. And please, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about people who have $1, $2 million, maybe $3, $4 million. I'm talking about people who have billions and hundreds of millions of dollars and more than you could ever spend in your lifetime. So, also, I assure you that I'm not a communist. So we go to number 3. We could start a nuclear holocaust. The New World Order has already decided that wars are not good, and most likely microwaves or particle beams would be used if it ever did go down like that. Number 4, we could tax the living hell out of everyone, but we really already are taxed at over 50%, which classifies communism, so we might as well just work for free, if that's the case. Number 5, we could broker a land deal and kill people off with heroin and other policies so that other countries would come here and gain citizenship. I've actually heard rumors that they were going to try to do a deal with China to give them like Oklahoma or some state in exchange for our enormous national debt. Number 6, my personal favorite, except number 2 I like as well. I think that's the real answer, is to basically gut the 1%. I don't really know of a better reason or answer. I'd rather see the 1% have a little bit less money and everybody else keep their jobs, essentially. So number 6, we start a new industrial revolution based on free energy. We become the envy of the world, and we would bring back American jobs and tax dollars, which essentially went over to Ireland, and a lot of globalist corporations left this country. Most likely, they will continue to keep kicking the can down the road and give us shills for presidential candidates, and they will all be part of the Zio Global agenda. These people print the money and the lies. If you like what I'm saying here, like I said, I beg you to please watch my Zio Global Truth video. Another suggestion I have is that we either start a new currency altogether, or we start backing our currency, by not just gold and silver, but like all kinds of stuff, like a basket of commodities, essentially. I mean, you could put anything in there. You could put natural gas, you could put cattle, you could put everything and anything, lumber, marijuana, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I think if you did this, back it like 80%, leave 20% open to the manipulators, so at least give them a little bit of meat on the bone. And if you did this, you'd probably have the most thriving currency in the whole entire world. But I guarantee you they will never do this. Instead, they'll allow for a select few group of people to keep manipulating the game and to keep everybody else in the dark, and they'll always be a step ahead, and it'll be a joke. So anyhow, again, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I appreciate any comments or any suggestions, ideas that you have, and who knows, maybe someday this problem will be mitigated. Thank you. God bless.